Hello and welcome again. This is part 2 of the pfSense configuration. In this video we're going to look at the interface assignment and interface IP address assignments. We will start by choosing one of the options over here. If you see, it gives you option number 0, 1, 2, 3 that way. And if we look at number 1, it is assigning interfaces. So you can see the first two interfaces, the WAN and the LAN, they are assigned as EM0 and EM1. This is the naming format of pfSense. So if you continue with that format and say EM2, EM3, then we can assign all the interfaces, then assign the IP addresses to them. So if we start with number 1, option number 1, if you click enter, then it asks you, do you want to set up VLANs? No, if we don't want VLANs, or if you want to, then you can do. But this is a simple configuration just to show you how to configure pfSense. So we say no, and then it says for the WAN interface, name as it is EM0, or just leave it if you don't want, or auto detection, so it will detect EM0. So here we have EM0 for the WAN, and then it says for the LAN again, name or A for auto detection. That one is already assigned. We can also use EM1 and then continue that way. For the second interface, it's called optional interface 1, and we're calling it EM2. Then we continue that way, EM3, and then EM4. These are the number of interfaces I have for this pfSense, and that's all done. So WAN, it's now called EM0, LAN EM1, and the optional 1 and 2 and 3, they're EM2, EM3, EM4. So do you want to proceed? Yes. Now we've got interface assignment. The next thing to do is those interfaces do not have any IP address except the ones that were assigned automatically from my network. So we will wait and then assign the LAN its own interface. Here we see LAN already got 192.168.1.1. I'm going to change that. I use 10 dot something for the LAN, and the WAN, it's getting an IP address from my DHCP server here, but I don't like that, two IP addresses on the same interface, so I'm going to stick with IP version 4 and delete the IP version 6. But let's assign EM1 first. So this option to choose to do that is number 2. So 2, and now it says enter the number of the interface you wish to configure. The one we're looking at is 2. So select 2 because 2 is right here. So these are the options we're choosing. The first one was options from here. Now we're going further down. So number 2, and it says configure IP address LAN interface via DHCP. I want to assign actually statically, so no. And then it says, okay, now put the new IP address, and that IP address here is 10.1.1.115. And then the subnet mask, it says if you want /24, 255.255.255.0, you write 24, and that's what I'm after. Otherwise 16 or 8, whatever the subnet mask is. And then it says now for the WAN, do you want a default gateway? I want this router, this pfSense to become a router, so I don't want the LAN to have another default gateway, so I leave it empty. Just click enter. We want to configure IP version 6, we will put this one no, and then put the new IP address of IP version 6. We don't want that one, so we click enter for empty. And do you want DHC to enable DHCP on the LAN? Yes, we want the machines connecting from the LAN to get an IP address from the LAN interface of the pfSense. So you say yes, then it says the start address and of the client address. So 10.1.1. that was .0/24. So if I leave the first 20 IP addresses for assigning devices in the network, I might start from 20, and then it asks the end, maybe 20 machines I have here, so I would say 10.1.1.40, and then it says, yeah, do you want to refer to HTTP? Yes, this is the web interface. We will look into this in a different video, but we're going to enable that, and it configures the web access from that LAN network. Then we continue. So it gives us an IP here. If you want to log on from the portal, http://10.1.1.115 is the interface of the LAN, which allows us to access the web configuration. So we say enter to continue. Now again, we've just configured one interface here. I will leave that one for now. We can do it from the web UI, but if we continue assigning the interface IP addresses, we again set 2 and then choose the interface we want to assign an IP. That's the interface here. I'm going to use this one as DMZ, and if I select number 3 and it says, do you want to configure DHCP? We say no. That means, do you want this interface to receive its IP from a DHCP server? No, we're going to assign it statically, and here we provide the IP, and this one's going to be 10.2.2.115. subnet mask is 24, and we don't want default gateway for that interface. We don't want IP version 6 assignment, so we say no, and then press enter for empty, no IP address there. Do you want to enable DHCP server for this? Yes, we do. That's going to be 10.2. So if we want to assign IPs from that interface, say yes. You can disable later if you don't want to. So the range is going to be same like before, but this one is starting from 10.2.2. And if we say the end is 10.2.2.40 again, so the first this 20 IP addresses I want to use for the clients in that subnet, it will configure that interface. We say continue, and now we have done 2 interfaces. We will do the third one. So again, press 2 and hit enter, and then now choose the interface you want to configure, and that's going to be EM3. So we've done EM1, EM2. So now 10.3 is going to be number 4. So click 4, and that 4 is saying, do you want to assign via DHCP the IP address? We say no, and then configure the IP address you want to assign to this interface. So it's going to be 10.3.3.115, that's EM3, and /24 for the subnet mask. And you want to so we don't want default gateway. Again, same process, all the interfaces, no DHCP IP version 6 here, and enter for empty value. Do you want to configure DHCP server here? Yes, we want to assign IPs from here. So 10.3.3.20, and it ends at 10.3.3.40, and then it will ask if we're going to use the web configuration. Same, continue. The last one we're going to do is again an op3, which is EM4, and then click enter, select number 5, which is EM4. So if you look at here, number 5, and we're looking at EM4 now, so select 5, then no DHCP, we're going to assign statically 10.4.4.115, and the subnet mask is /24, and we don't want a default gateway for that interface. We don't want IP version 6 DHCP and no IP at all. Then we enable the DHCP server here, yes, and then the range is going to be 10.4.4.20 and 10.4.4.40, and then we wait. It will assign the web UI for that one as well. So continue. Now we see all 4 interfaces are there. You can disable the IP version 6 from the WAN interface from the web UI. We can access via here. So for another video, we will complete the configuration of the interfaces and then create the firewall rules, VPN, and so many services in pfSense that you can use for trial are there just to practice and learn how this platform works. So thank you for your time, and see you in the next video.